Second thing, consistency. This is a kind of weird one. More enterprises have failed because they changed than because they didn't change. I was giving that talk in New York City a couple of years ago, and one guy just stood up and said, "You're an idiot." Okay, Everybody's into who's moving whose cheese and all this great change, and the world's changing faster than it ever has. First of all, the world didn't change it faster than it ever has. There are certain things that are geometric, but go back and look what happened in the 1920s. What happened from having no radios to everybody having radios, from having no cars to virtually everybody having cars, from nobody having indoor plumbing to virtually everybody having indoor plumbing. Certainly between 1910 and 1930, the whole world changed. So an example there. You've got the Boeing Company, one of America's greatest manufacturing companies. They got to the point where they said, well, we're not a manufacturing company anymore, we're a services company. I think they thought Wall Street would think that was sexier. They said, we're not a Seattle company anymore, we're a Chicago company. Although we'll leave all the workers in the plants in Seattle and move 100 jobs to Chicago and get a big bonus from the state of Illinois. I love Chicago, but they were a Seattle company. They had always been one of the most ethical companies in America, and then all of a sudden you see them investigated for things. They lost their way, and they were the #1 maker of airliners in the world, and all of a sudden they're #2 to Airbus. If you would have told me some European consortium was going to take over #1, I would have said, hey, you're smoking dope or something, And it's amazing. Now they finally got rid of the idiot that was running it, got back on their feet, and now Boeing is rolling again. But man, they lost several years. Contrast it with a company like Caterpillar. Peoria, Illinois, every reason in the world to move to Chicago. Easier to recruit talent, fly in and out of O'Hare, easier to travel and everything. And they said, look, we make big yellow equipment. And if nobody wants that, fine, stop making it. But that's what we do, and that's all we know, and we're proud of it, and we love it. And if you look at it, Caterpillar, at least 2 of the last 4 years, it was a top-performing stock in the Dow Jones average. And the power of being, and actually right now with all the manufacturing thing and potential bailouts of the auto industry and all that kind of jazz, nobody talks about Caterpillar, nobody talks about John Deere, nobody talks about a company called PACCAR, P-A-C-C-A-R. They make Peterbilt and Kenworth trucks. Most valuable automotive company in America, American workers making the world's greatest products. Mercedes-Benz would give their right arm, they're another maker of trucks, to make products as good as PACCAR makes. Their biggest plant's Denton, Texas. Average worker's been in there 18 years. Nobody talks about that maybe General Motors and Ford and Chrysler made some bad decisions along the way because not everybody did. John Deere, another wonderful company. But what you see when you study great enterprises is that they tend to do one thing incredibly well over and over again. And their heart, their soul, stays in the same place. Now the tactics you use, whether you advertise on the internet or advertise on billboards or whatever, that can change, has to change by the hour. That does happen faster than ever. But what you're really about, and so many of the great American enterprises have gone into decay, it's because they forgot why they exist. They've forgotten their purpose.